Happy New Year, everyone. Another year has come and gone. And with that, it's time to rank all 16 movies I saw in 2023. I would just like to preface by saying that my list may be a bit unpopular to some people, but that's okay. None of the movies on this list are bad. Not even my number 16 is bad. It's just the ones I love the most, because I like them all. Some of you won't like my opinions, but just please try and be respectful, okay? So let's get into it with number 16, which is the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It was definitely a fun time, with lots of jokes that I actually laughed at, and of course the iconic Peaches song. But some of the voice performances were not the best. The plot was quite messy at points, and also got way too silly. But that's what you can expect from a children's movie. This movie wasn't made for me, and I can say that, but I can also say that it was my least favourite movie that I saw this year. Number 15 is one I'm really disappointed to put this low, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It was one of my most anticipated movies going into this year, which is why it was so sad when it wasn't very good. The CGI is like the worst it's ever been at Marvel in this movie, and I don't really like how they were just doing this weird like quantum realm people thing, and there was a whole thing and there was people like broccoli. Like, it was just too silly for me. I just didn't think it worked, and I missed the heist kind of vibe that was in like the first two Ant-Man movies. Kang was really good in this movie. Jonathan Majors, his performance was great, but I think he needed a bit more screen time. Also, Janet Van Dyne, Michelle Pfeiffer, she was great here, but it was just a bit too silly, and I think they defeated Kang way too easily, and I just don't think this is a good indicator of where the multiverse saga is going. Switching now to another declining saga, we have Fast X. As you can tell from this poster, there is just so many characters in this movie that it feels a bit too convoluted. Jason Momoa's Dante is too campy, and some of the acting performances, especially from Brie Larson, were just not good and felt out of place in this universe. This once grounded story about street racing has turned into a joke. They literally went to space in the last movie, and in this movie, they're surviving plane crashes, explosions, the craziest stuff ever. Like, it's just a bit too much, but that's not to say it wasn't a fun ride. And I like how Dante is threatening, but again, he's just really campy too. So, it's okay, but it's not the best. I keep seeing my number 13 as everyone's number ones, and that is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I love the world building with all the canon events and stuff, and how much more it goes into the multiverse concept. And also, I love the twist at the end, but other than that, it felt a little bare bones. Of course, the visuals are absolutely stunning, but at points in this movie, I was just like almost falling asleep. Like, I think it's good, but it could be better, and I'm really hoping that Beyond the Spider-Verse is better. In 12th, we have another animated movie, Elemental. This film is really cute, but forgettable. The romance between Amber and Wade is really cute and romantic and relatable, and I really like the world building they did. The comedy was really good, and I loved how relatable Amber's pressures were. Honestly, it was just a really fun time, but yeah, it was a bit forgettable and didn't really stick out among Pixar's other works and the other films this year. Next up is The Flash. This movie was a mixed bag. It had some really good points, but it also had some meh points. The movie handled the themes of grief and mental health very well, and Ezra Miller, although has a bit of a tricky history, did really well portraying two different versions of Barry Allen. The portrayal of Supergirl by Sasha Calle was perfect, and Michael Keaton's return was a bit disappointing. The cameos were also not great, but overall I think it was a pretty good movie. Continuing the DCEU theme, in 10th place we have Blue Beetle. This was a fun, standard superhero film that had pretty good action and a lot of heart. The romance between Jenny and Jaime was actually surprisingly good for a superhero film, but the villains weren't the best. It had a lot of things to say and it said them well. Also, the suit looked amazing. I'm really excited that James Gunn said that Jaime would be returning in the DCU. In ninth place is yet another DCU film, Shazam! Fury of the Gods. The kind of middle-of-the-road placement for all these movies kind of sums up the whole DCU. This film is one of the funniest films of this year. Helen Mirren and Zachary Levi are such an unexpected but funny duo, and Rachel Zegler and Jack Dylan Granger were also great in this film. Just like the first Shazam movie, it was lighthearted for the most part, but in some parts got really dark, in that actually really emotional scene where Billy died. Spoilers, but it came out in March. That Skittles scene, which was obvious product placement, but honestly, I didn't really mind it because it was actually really funny. That girl who plays Darla is going places. In 8th place, we have the live-action Little Mermaid. This film, there was just something magical about it. Halle Bailey was the perfect casting for Ariel, and the rest of the cast was also pretty great. It was funny, the music was great, I even loved the original songs, which I'm not usually a fan of because I'm just so used to the classics. It's the best Disney adaptation yet by far, and I really hope Snow White can live up to it. In 7th place is quite a recent movie, Anyone But You, starring Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney. This movie had everything you need in a rom-com: romance, humor, and predictability. They definitely delivered in the humor. I was laughing like the whole time. Glenn and Sydney, the chemistry is unmatched. Also, it gave some shout-outs to Australia, which was nice, though the stereotypes weren't exactly flattering. It was just so electric and funny, the whole movie, that there's no way I couldn't put it up here on the list. A lot of you will be shocked that this film is so high, but my number 6 is The Marvels. Nobody even gave this movie a chance, which is really sad because it's so good. The three leads have undeniable chemistry, and the whole movie is carried by Aman Vellani's Kamala Khan, who is just the most relatable character in the whole MCU. The plot was concise, and you could really tell the villain's plan, though the wardrobing on that villain and also our leads was also not that great. It had a clear structure which really helped the flow. Also, the post-credit scenes were very exciting for the future of this saga. So, I honestly think The Marvels deserved a lot more credit, so it's up here on my list. Starting off the top 5 is another MCU movie, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What a way to end a franchise. It was emotional, it had a lesson, and had something to say. It gave a perfect goodbye to all our characters and set up a new chapter for the Guardians of the Galaxy. This film was amazing, and I can't wait to see what James Gunn does with the DCU. Number 4 is the first movie I saw this year. Well, that was Puss in Boots, but that's a 2022 movie, so it doesn't count. It's Megan. This film had so much to say about technology, and it executed it in a perfect way. Megan was fun, she was vibey, I loved her little dance, and the performances from Violet McGraw, Jenna Davis, and Allison Williams were all great. Amy Donald's physicality was also great and added a lot to this film. The silver medal winner, my third place movie of the year, is The Hunger Games: Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. It is based off one of my favorite books of recent years and gives so much more depth to President Snow as a character. Rachel Zegler's Lucy Gray is absolutely amazing, although the accent was a bit distracting at first. The songs were so powerful, so well written. I just have to give a thing to Suzanne Collins for creating this amazing universe. I'd love to see more Hunger Games content soon. The runner-up film for the year for me is Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. This film has some of the best action I've ever seen. From the train sequence, which was just so thrilling, had me on the edge of my seat, to that really funny car chase that was so, well done. I just can't believe how good this movie is. I really liked the villain Gabriel. He was so threatening and had a personal connection to Ethan. My one gripe with the movie is how they killed off Rebecca Ferguson. That was a bit disrespectful, but honestly, I'm not too mad about it since Hayley Atwell's character Grace is really good, and honestly, Rebecca Ferguson's character was just kind of there. But yeah, I'm super excited for part 2, and I really hope it doesn't get delayed anymore. My creme de la creme, my piece of the resistance, my number 1 movie of the year is, you guessed it, Barbie. I mean, wow. The phenomenon that Greta Gerwig created here was just incredible. The movie is also so empowering with its women, and I love all this feminism they had, and I think it was quite clever yet a bit maniacal about how they hid that from all the marketing. There was some great star-making turns here from Ariana Greenblatt, America Ferrera, Margot Robbie, and of course Ryan Gosling's Ken. I'm Just Ken is so good, I will never shut up about it. The soundtrack is also amazing, including Billie Eilish's What Was I Made For, which fit really well with the emotional film. Overall, there's no way I could not put this at number 1. It is such an amazing movie, and I'm really hoping we get a sequel or a Ken spin-off, but even if we don't, I'm really happy at what Greta Gerwig created here. That's my ranking of all 16 movies I've seen this past year. It's been a great year, and I've loved making content for you all. I'd love to make even more content this year, which will be helped by all of you guys subscribing and liking this video. Stay tuned for what will come next, which I promise you will be a lot of fun. Have a great new year. Bye.